and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking off the EGR valve and the throttle body and the intake manifold in order to give it a good cleaning and remove all the carbon that's within the manifold EGR valve and clean out the throttle body on top of that. So that's today's job, and I'm looking forward to getting this done, because you know carbon builds up quite a lot and you want to keep it clean, definitely 100%. So as I say, let's get cracking on with the job. So the process we need to do here is we need to take off this electrical loom, remove it out of the way. There's a couple of bolts, one here and there's one here, and then it's attached to the side down there. You can see that when I lay him. I might have to remove that, just push it out. It's just attached to the side down there. Maybe you'll see it better from here, yeah. There, just sort of push it off the side, and that will give me access to lift it up. It's also tied on here to one of the the diesel warmer warmer rail. So hopefully I can leave that there, but if not, we can take it off. Doesn't really matter. So, and then I need to then get the EGR valve off. EGR valve off, then disconnect these five injector pipes, and then remove the diesel fuel rail so I can get in at the 5 bolts on the top. As you can see, there's one in there, there's one there, there's 5 in total on the top and 4 on the bottom, and then we can torque them up to the correct specifications, which is 23 Newton meters for the cylinder head. But anyway, let's get cracking on with the job. I think what I'll do is I'll take off this completely so I can get working at this. So that's what I'm going to do first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the battery here. So I'll take off the negative terminal on this, just to have it, tuck it in here all out of the way. And that's an 11mm bolt, and this here, loosen this up, 11mm bolt. So I'll be able to take off my flow air sensor here, push this down here like this, and it should just slip out just like that, and I'll pull this off then. I'll be back in a second. Under this then we have a few bolts just to take that off. Now we've that removed and disconnected from the turbo intake, so 3 11mm. So we remove these three 11mm bolts, and yeah, remove this housing. Now with these bolts removed, we have then an air intake pipe here, and just basically slides out like that, like so. And then just lift up that pipe there, please. Lift up that pipe there for me. Now we have, just take that for a second, we have an air intake pipe here, and that's just simply just pull it over like this, and it slides out. The whole thing comes out like so, easy peasy. Now we have the housing removed here, the 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and I want to take off this electrical loom, and it's connected here, and it's also connected here. So if I can just remove them there, it'll give me enough play to remove these up. I need to disconnect this here and disconnect this here, and hopefully I don't have to take this off, but if I do, I shall. It should be no problem, and I will be disconnecting this here. So there's 3 things I have to disconnect there now next. So let's get on with it. This first connection here I'm going to do is, there's 2 clips here. There's one here, you push it in like so, and there's another one here, the opposite side, and it pushes in so. Here, click. There's that one held there, and this one, there you go. So that comes off. That's one. Yeah, we move on to the next. Right, the next one here we just push in. You don't know if you can hear that. There's a bit of a click in that, and that just pulls it just like so. Quite simple. It's very nice. We move on to the next one. Now this one here has just another clip here that we push down. So you push this one down and unclick. Grand job. Next job. I have another bolt, and it's in there. It's holding on this wire and loom here, just so it's a 30 mil. So I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off so I can get some flexibility on just lifting this up, you know, out of the way. It's just attached on here now with this here, and I should be able to lift that loom up. Back in 1 second. 13. Right, the next one is I want to take off is a connection down here, and just you click it in. You sort of push it in here with your finger or a screwdriver, and you hear the click, and off it comes. Yeah, so that's that one. Let's see. And we have one more clip in the back here. The back it is. So that gives me flexibility with this wire and loom, so I can get into work on the intake manifold. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Now, next step is I'm going to be stripping off the EGR pipe, EGR valve, and then throttle body, and then maybe getting into the intake manifold itself. And right, we have a lot of clamping to do here now, a lot of pipes to deal with here, so I'll be using different coloured markers for each pipe and where to go. As you can see, there was work done on a lot of these previously, so the silver and silver, black, there's black and that, so they're marked anyway. These just go down into the throttle body, these ones. So if I clamp these two here now, and then there's coolant coming through these, so by clamping them it'll stop any spillage and any mess, and that's exactly what I want. The less mess, the better. So we'll be back in a second. Now in this instance I've got both of these pipes clamped up, save any mess, right? I'm going to take off the EGR pipes, and then this, and then we'll disconnect the pipes, then we'll take off this then, and we'll drill down into it from there on in. So that's the next step. I'll come back when I have it on. These here I'm nearly sure are all 12 mils, 12 mils bolts for the pipe, intake pipe here and here, and be careful there's a gasket, don't lose it. 12 mil bolts for all these, another gasket here, don't lose that. So we'll be back in a second. Okay, so that's the pipe off. There's two gaskets there now. There's one that goes on here, and then there's one on here, like, you know, that's the pipe for the EGR valve. So the next thing is we're going to concentrate on getting these pipes off, and we'll do that now. Just wait there now, 1 sec. Dry out. There. From these are easier. That's how cheap it is. So this one. That's two. Let's slide down. Use this here. Let's damage these. Here we go. Yeah, that's number one. See, no spillage. Handy having the clamps. This will just free the tops of them. There we go, that's number two. Small bit of spillage, drop. Right, so that's it. That's number two. Job done. So What we want to do is we want to do undo these bolts here, 1, 2 and 3 to get, and then we have to take off this bracket here. So we'll have bolts 1, 2 and there's one missing there on that one. So there's 3. So 6 in all we have to take off on this to get the EGR valve off. We'll be back in 1 minute. Right, with the pipes removed, remove these 12 mils. So you twist it to your right in this instance. These are bolts. First one. And second one. There's a nut. And we have another nut on this side. So one thing coming off now. So this should come off here anyway, but we want to get all this off, get it all clean. This is the holder of the EGR valve, this is. That is 1, 2 and 3. And there. And take this off first of all. Another gasket in there, as we can see. One more connection down there on this side that we need to take off. Is down there, which is, as usual, it's really easy to get off. Let me just show you what it is. That's it there. So we get that off and take this EGR valve off. Okay, we take off this one first on this bracket here. I meant to say that in the last video, but there we go. So just take that out there now. But anyway, this doesn't fall under the camera, so that's the EGR valve will come out now. Completely. So there's the 3 parts to it. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, look at the carbon on that. Look at the amount of build up on that. That's quite a lot. So we just leave this. Put these nuts back in the place. But take off this gasket first of all. Wow, that's fire. Now, have a look inside there at that carbon build up. Where's the light? And we get a good look at this so far. As you can see, it's quite caked. This is going to be a lot of cleaning in this intake manifold. Absolutely lots. There's the back of this. A lot to be cleaned here. So let's undo this. Same thing, you just push this in, click and slide it out. Absolutely caked. I'll come back when I have it done. Now we have the EGR valve off and intake inlet, so there's gaskets on these, so I'm going to keep all these together in their correct order as I'm cleaning them, so I don't misplace any of them. So that goes there, that goes there, that goes with that, this one comes there and it goes on the back of this one, so just leave that there. So let's just take a look here now and we see. Let's see, can I find my light? It's in my pocket. Can't seem to find it, but this isn't actually too bad. There's quite a bit in it, alright. Could be worse. This one isn't too bad either, in all fairness, like. There's more dirt around here, so I've got some cleaner I'm going to use to clean this here. Some carb cleaner to clean all them there. That's quite easy. I already did do the pipe in one previous video, so that should be clear to see. All the Newton meter torques is 23 Newton meters to put these back on torque. So we'll go back over here now. We'll look at this intake manifold. As you can see, that's a lot of stuff there in there. That's a lot. So what's it going to be like with inside the whole intake manifold? I dread to think. So the next step is going to be take off this intake manifold, and yeah, this should be fun. See what sort of rubbish in this. So we're going to take off Let's move this out of the way here now. So we've take these two bolts off here, and then we have one there. So we have one there, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4 there now. So, and we have 5 on the top. So I'm going to get the gasket. I'll be back in 1 second. Now I just need to take off the pipes of the diesel injector pipes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remove them. Take off the diesel rail, diesel fuel rail. It's disconnected here and here, and then we need to take that off. And then when we have that off, we can get into the 5 bolts, which is one here, and there's one down there. Just underneath here, we need to take off this vacuum lead here. There's one in there, and then there's one over here. So that's it. Let's crack on. Get the job done. Why is it going to rain? Right, so we're going to take out these bolts here. Same again, same size, same, all the same. That's 1, 2. We've all these loosened up, all these injector pipes. I will be replacing them if any of them are leaking. That's them too. So we need to put these. And we can get this lifted up here now. So we'll come back when we have this ready to come off here now. 1 second. We just have one here, and I might leave them. Might leave them brackets on. There's no need to take them off. Yeah, I can leave them on. Right, we'll come back to when we have this lifted up. Right, I've taken off this clamp here. The bolts are out. Undid all the these injector pipes. So we just did a wee bit of that. And we just remove these here. Take out the insulating cover that's underneath this as well. There we go. That's the fuel rail. And we just put that there like so. Take this out. Beautiful. Put that here. Now, I want to give this a blowing off. As you can see, there's a lot of rubbish on top. I suppose I could give it a bit of a blowing off, yeah. But this is just oil leaking from people, whoever was servicing the car. That's basically all that is. We have 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've 2 bolts and 3 nuts, or 3 bolts and 2 nuts. I'm sorry, beg your pardon. And then we have the same underneath then as well. So we have 4 underneath. We have 1 there. We have 1 there, and we have 1 here, and we have 1 here, and we have 1 over here. So let's get that job done. Right, it's a lot of work here, isn't it? Now I'm going to clamp this little pipe here, and we have that clamped ready to go. So as next I'm going to take off the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 4 on the bottom, and we should be able to remove the whole head in one piece along with the throttle body with that. We'll have to disconnect the throttle body below here as well. And yes, let me just make sure 100%. Yep, that's it. They're all piped up, ready to go. We'll be back in a second. Now that's the 4 out. We have 1 out from underneath there, 1 out from underneath there, a bolt from here. That's a nut, 2 bolts, and this is the 4th one from here. So I'm keeping them over here like this, just so I remember where they're going. Then I get the one on the top off. Then I need to disconnect throttle body, and I have a little pipe here to disconnect, but I'll get that off once I have the intake manifold loose. So we'll take these 5 off. We'll be back. There's a bolt here holding on the dipstick. That's come off as well. Nearly there, nearly have it off. And then I'm going to disconnect that throttle body. So that's next step on the agenda. Back in a second. Right, here we go. There we have it off. The carbon in here built up. It seems to be quite shocking to say the least. Take this out gasket off. Make sure we're setting the right one. Just to have them, which is perfect. But then we come back here. Just look at that mess. Look at that mess. We're going to get the hoover now. We're going to clean it off and hoover it at the same time. Get that nice and clean, because that's terrible. So this valve here off of this intake, it is absolutely, it's caked really, so there's plenty to be taken off that. And that's the next step of cleaning this EGR valve. That's the next step here, get this job done. Absolutely very important to keep these things clean. So what I think I'll do is this, I'll try some Mr. Muscle on the bottom here. I'll keep it upright like this, let the Mr. Muscle do his job, rinse it out. Rinse it out. There's no point in even trying to use any sort of cleaner on that. I suppose I could scrape it out. Might be the best thing to do. Well, that's the next job. So, back in a second. Right, look in here. As you can see inside, it's absolutely filthy. Well, it was. I got a lot out. That is nothing compared. Here's a toothbrush. Again, it's a muscle. Keep it upright. Away from the electronics and all the rest of it. And we have a lot of carbon in here to get out. I've got special brushes for cleaning it out. So when we've that done, we'll come back to you. Right, nice and clean in there now, as you can see. We got all that dirty old carbon out of it. Clean all of the gaskets need to go back on. Give it a wee bit of a dry now, and we'll get on to the EGR valve. We're going to get this back in here now. We'll just show you where these bolts are. The positions there. That one there, one there, one there, and one there. The 4 on the bottom. So we have the new gasket go in. With this all nice and clean, spotless clean, like it's, you know, as good as you can get it, like compared to what it was. Back out slightly, you know, it's really nice and clean in there now. Nice, just give that another little just re-drying off there, but oh, this is really, yes, nice and clean. That's the way we need it. So I'm going to put the gasket on there now. We're back there. Once the gasket back on, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the intake manifold and get these bolts in now. These two are going to be the hardest. This one and this one, just the position they're in, like, you know. So yeah, let's get on with it. We put it on, bolt it up, connect air inflow in, and get the rest of the pieces connected, and we'll deal with the EGR valve there. Right, 23 Newton meters for all these. I did this one, did I? I didn't get them just clicked yet, but in a minute I get them all nice and snug. There we go. Click them out like that. Put them all 23. That's the job. Each and every one of them. Back in a minute. Next thing I'm putting in is the insulation here now. This is the insulation for the glow plugs, and then I'm going to get the injector fuel rail back on, reconnect it on. Hopefully now I might have to replace these pipes. See, can I get away with not replacing them? If I do, that's all part of the job. Next thing, back in a second. Same thing, tarpon 23. Now I've got the diesel rail back in, injectors connected up. I need to just tighten these up now, get them in the right thread. Make sure they're the right torque setting. Same with these bios here on top, 5 of them. So that's the next step. Reconnect the diesel rail, and we are flying. So nice easy job this. Just a lot of messing about in it, but you know what? Be well worth it when it's done. I started tightening them up. So when that job's done, I'll be right now. We have the diesel rail back in, the insulation for the glow plugs, diesel rail back in. Let's connect this back up. So we have two, one on this side, another one here. That's them two back on, and then we have one in here to get this back on. But I need to get this into position first. Go for that. Nearly there. Not much. I'll just reconnect that. Now, next thing is we'll tighten up this. I need to put the bolt back into this here, or holding on the aisle, or it goes in here actually. Holding on the old dipstick. Now I have to tighten the intake pipe below. I have to get a screwdriver and tighten that up as well. That's coming into the bottom of the throttle body. So we'll be back to you when we have that done. Right, we're going to give this EGR valve a clean. So we're using more carbon EGR cleaner just to give it a good oil. So, toothbrush. Maybe some little brushes here. So we have some special tools here for cleaning these here now. So we'll be back in a minute when we have it done. Oh yeah, look, we have the inlet for the EGR into the manifold, just soaking away there. So back in a second, we have this done. Now here we go. This is the clean. We got this one. I use Mr. Muscle on this one here. So anything really there's no electrical powers like this, for example, you use Mr. Muscle on these, like the intake and that, and make sure they're lovely and clean. This is spotless, a brand new piece. And then this piece here, I just use the carb cleaner on it. And then these little brushes that I have here for doing that job. And yeah, I got that nice and clean too. So let's fit this, see how it goes. Back in a sec. Oh, gaskets all cleaned up as well. So we'll be back there. Okay, so we're going to replace now this gasket here for this part of the EGR. One, that's two. So there's three jobs on this. And it's the same thing, 23 Newton meters. That's one. Nearly there. 1, 2, and 3. We'll come back when we get them. Right, let's get the old EGR valve back on. Sorry, just looking at something over there. So fits in these two bolts here like so. The gasket's on, move the pipes out of the way. Slides in like so. These two brackets go on here. Not for that is here. And they go into this one. So I'm taking them on. So now hand tight, ready for 23. Beautiful job. Now we connect this on here on the bottom. Actually, what I might do first of all is right. I'm just going to connect the electric connections here and put the pipes back on, get them into position, and be back when that's done. Okay, so we've reconnected this back on here, connected that fitting back on there. We've connected this pipe on the bottom, got the clamping it. We've the air intake flow tightened on the bottom of there. These two are back on. These are all connected, diesel injectors, both injector both sides, all tightened up. Let me see, yes, there's nut back in here for the dipstick, and that's the 2023 is what we have that, the torque for that one. This has to go back in here. another job. That's secure. Just looking for the nut for this one here. Oh shit, so look. Of course, as I always try to make things as easy as possible. There we go. I should be taking that down there in a second. And we'd have to torque these up now at 23, make sure it's still the same. Hasn't moved. Ah, there was a lot of old carbon in this, wasn't there, Evan?
Yeah. Nice.
That's one.
I got the extension out for you now.
Yeah. Wriggle it a little bit. Two. And that's three. There we go. This bolt here has to go into the. We'll get this in there in 1 second. There's one missing, so we found one for there, so that was missing. So let's just check everything here 100% before we put the battery in. Which ones? Oh yeah, them was there. Now, the back is broken now, look. And absolutely. Just turning around here now. Just make sure that it didn't move. Tight. Get this right, I won't snap anything. That slipped off. That's fine. That's grand down there. Right, that's that. Now, next thing we need to do is get the battery back up. That'll be the next job. Back in a second. Okay, so let's get this back in. This is the air intake. So we need to get that pipe going through there. And we need to get this sitting in its correct spot, which is there. So let's get these screws into this. So what we'll do is we'll screw this back in and we'll be back to you when the job is done. Next step is put the top back on the air intake box. turbo intake. This needs to be a bit. There we go. That's that. Taking it off 10mm. And I'll put in. Clips them back in there. Click, click. Tighten this up. It'll be home for the spuds in only 2 minutes. Right. Next step, battery tray on. There we go. In place. Battery comes next. Positive to the left, negative to the right. That's that. Put the positive on first. And we get a negative on, but we'll strap it off first. But what I will do first of all is I will get this all strapped on and maybe back in just 1 second. Right, let's do a recap. We took out the intake manifold here, and all them bolts were 12, was it 12 mil, isn't it?
12, yeah.
12 mil, and there's 5 in the top, 5 in the bottom. There's bolts and nuts, a mix, and the torque settings for them are 23 newton meters for the whole lot. We cleaned out the intake manifold, the EGR valve, and this fixing in, and then the pipe. We done that in a previous video. Recently we got all the pipes back into the correct position, 1, 2, and this one down here 3. We've connected everything back up, each side of the diesel rail. This one here, There's a connection down there. We reset this electrical loom back into its bracket, and basically, yes, if I missed that, and there we go. But the next thing is just we put this back in. Oh, wait a minute, the mass flow air sensor. Wait a minute, Evan.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
There we go. That's it, right. So the next thing is to, yeah,
Right.
try it up. I take a couple of goes with the diesel, no diesel in the injector pipes, but go for it when you're ready. Put you on neutral. And turn off a few times and on. Off and on a few times. Ignition. Just fill them up. You can hear them filling up in there now. Make sure we have no leaks in any of these. Go for it now. And again. There we go. Job done. Just there was no diesel in the pipe. But anyway, that's the job done. That's how you do the EGR valve in a Toyota Avensis T270 2-litre 2011 D4D. Quite a lot of work, but you know, it's well worth it at the end. Because it was filthy, it was full of carbon. Turn it off. Fire it up again. It was full of carbon, and you know what I mean. Keeping on top of these things is absolutely a great thing to do. Beautiful. Right, off. Right, let's see. 100% nothing coming out of that. 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 And nothing coming out of that. I'm actually quite pleased with that there. So anyway, look, if this video is anyway helpful for you, you can, you know, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you like, if not. But anyway, there you go. That's how you do the inlet manifold on a Toyota Avensis. Take care, bye.